Hello, everyone, and welcome to the presentation by me. My name is Chung, and today I'm going to present to you guys about the DevC assignment powered by Kodo School, how to identify and gather requirement from stakeholders. So this is a challenge uh, that took me some time to invest resource and time to figure out all the information because I'm also a product manager, so I need more time to do that. Okay, so moving forward, I want to identify with you guys about the stakeholder. So what is a stakeholder? So a stakeholder is a person with interest or concern in anything, and it can be any business, it can be any project. So for example, Mr. Peter, he's working on a software development project. He wants to build a website. So what are the stakeholders there? Can be him, can be his CEO, can be his project manager, can be his sales, can be his quality control, anyone, guys. So moving on, I want to list out the types of the stakeholders. So there are only two types of stakeholders, as you can see in the picture here. So let's say your company is the center of everything, right? And then on the left, you see the internal stakeholders. On the right side, you can see the external stakeholders. So for the internal stakeholders, can be many roles just to make sure that it is within your company. It can be a sales, marketing, developer, tester, your CEO, your director, uh, anyone. And for the external stakeholders, there are so many of them. So anyone who is involved in your project but outside of your company are called the external stakeholders. So you can see here uh, the suppliers, the society, the government, the customers, the observers, creditors, shareholders. They have so many impact on the project, but they are not in your company, so they are called the external stakeholders. So moving on, the question is how to gather requirement from your stakeholders. So as a project manager or a product manager, there are five ways to do that. Uh, the first one is brainstorming. The second one is interview. The third one is focus groups. The fourth one is doing surveys. And the last but not least is benchmarking. So I will go through every one of them. All right. So as you can see here, brainstorming. Brainstorming is what is when you get a group of people in a room. Uh, can be one from each team. Can be one developer, one tester, one marketing people, one salesman, and you try to brainstorm about the project. So basically, you get the requirement from your CEO, right? And then you want to gather everybody there to identify the requirement, to explore, to verify if if this requirement is doable. So I think this method is very effective because you can get different point of view from many different people from different background. You can get the idea from the software engineer, from the tester, from the marketing people, from the sales people, from the operation people. They can sometimes give you a very helpful advice toward your project. The disadvantage of this method is having too many voice in your head, which means that you will be asked, you will be swamped by so many questions. You and it will take you a lot of time, uh, and sometimes you are just stuck there because you have so many questions that you cannot answer, and you also uh, gather so many ideas from the people that you're not sure that they are critical for the project. So moving on, the next method is interview. So interview is very effective because you can have the time to sit one on one with important stakeholders. So obviously you won't have many voices in your head. You will you will be very picky on picking the stakeholders. You can schedule one on one with your CEO, your CPO if this is the product project, uh, your marketing director to see if the product is marketable, your sales manager to see if uh, it is good for selling. All right, uh, this is the the most effective method because you can sit down one on one and just verify all the requirement with each people. But the downside of it is that it takes you a lot of time as well because each meeting can cost you 30 to 1 hour, and you may not have time to do something else. Right. The third one is the focus group. To me, it is by far the the best method that I have experienced so far in product and project management. So this is a method where you gather all the important people all the important people in a room, and you will try to discuss about the requirements. So for me, my project is mostly related to technology. So I will ask my head of technical development into the room, my QC manager, my marketing manager into a room, and we will uh, gather the ideas from different people. This is like best of both worlds because you will get the expert idea just like when you do interviews, and you will not have many voices like the first method, the brainstorming method. You can just get the expectation, the right expectation, the right advice towards your requirement. Also, the focus group and will help you build more relationship with other people, like the sales director, the head of software development, and many other important stakeholders. Right. The fourth one is surveys. So why survey? So a survey is very effective when you have a large number of stakeholders. So let's say you have 200 people in your project, 200 people, including external stakeholders and internal stakeholders. So it doesn't make much sense for you to interview one on one or do the focus group because there are too many of them. So how about you start gathering the requirement by doing the survey? By doing the survey, you can list out all the options that you think are possible, and you put the last option to other so people can input. So from the survey, you can clearly understand that this is the right thing to do, and you will keep moving. All right. The next one is benchmarking. So benchmarking is when you compare and contrast with everything you have in the past. So for the example here, you built the website A and it took you 2 weeks for the MVP. So in the future, when you do another website,